For Call of Duty's first foray into the ever-emerging Battle Royale genre, Black Ops 4's Blackout successfully injected the franchise's fast-paced movement and tight gunplay into the last man standing formula that made the genre so challenging yet appealing. But its potential to be a contender to Fortnite and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds was ultimately squandered by a rushed development time of reportedly 9 months, the $60 entry fee, and Call of Duty's own yearly release cycle. In essence, Blackout's days as the new kid on the block were numbered from the start, and its relevance slowly dwindled with each passing day. So naturally, many at the time wondered if Call of Duty would continue the trend onto their next entry and introduce a Battle Royale mode in 2019's Modern Warfare, Infinity Ward's soft reboot of 2007's universally acclaimed Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. However, as more information about the game came to light, the possibility seemed unlikely at first. Although Blackout was envisioned by Treyarch to fill the absence of Black Ops 4's story-driven campaign, Modern Warfare was set to bring back its blockbuster storytelling by delivering a modern military narrative that felt relevant and realistic in its depiction of geopolitical conflicts. The game's third pillar was also revealed to be Spec Ops, a fan-favorite co-op mode from the subseries that hasn't returned since 2011's Modern Warfare 3 due to the popularity of zombies. Therefore, many didn't expect a Battle Royale mode in 2019's Modern Warfare by that logic, unless you heard about the leaks and data mines found in the game's files. Regardless, Infinity Ward was being incredibly coy in answering whether or not a Battle Royale mode would eventually come to Modern Warfare.
What's the best new multiplayer mode?
My personal favorite is Ground War.
Why is that?
I like larger player counts.
Will there be a Battle Royale mode in this game?
We'll have to wait and see.
Would you like there to be a Battle Royale mode in this game?
I personally like that game mode.
You sound so scared.
Following the release of Modern Warfare on October 25th, 2019, the developer continued to hint at the possible existence of a Battle Royale, with a seemingly interconnected universe between its multiplayer and Spec Ops maps, the intro cinematic for Season 2, and an update to the menu screen. As a result, the question evolved from, is a Battle Royale coming, to when is this Battle Royale mode coming? On March 9th, 2020, Activision finally confirmed months of rumors and leaks and officially revealed Call of Duty Warzone. Although its aesthetics and mechanics were closely tied to 2019's Modern Warfare, it came as a surprise to everyone when it was revealed to be its own separate game, free of charge. Additionally, existing Modern Warfare players like myself simply had to download a 20GB download to access the mode, allowing the existing players to play with newcomers from the very beginning. At this point in my gaming life, my go-to Battle Royale was Apex Legends, which recently passed its 1-year anniversary and arguably brought the most innovations to the formula. So I was curious to see whether this new Call of Duty Battle Royale had improved upon the design template of Blackout and lived up to the golden standard set by Apex Legends. The ways that Warzone improved upon what Blackout had established were clear for the very first match, and those familiar with Modern Warfare's movement and mechanics would feel right at home with how the Battle Royale mode controls. Trying a new Battle Royale experience is just as fun as playing any new game, but once I was past the honeymoon phase and really thought about Warzone from a critical standpoint, it was obvious that the game doesn't even come close to reaching what Apex Legends has achieved. While I agree that Warzone is a significant improvement for Blackout by introducing quality of life changes, these innovations, along with many others that will be discussed within this video essay, each have flaws that are questionable at best and unacceptable at worst from a design standpoint. Additionally, its shared identity with Modern Warfare has arguably reignited the grave concerns that many had with the core multiplayer, and those very same systems seemingly discourage strong squad play and aggressive and mobile playstyles, two essential pillars that Apex Legends abides by. Let's start off by analyzing each quality of life improvement that Warzone brought to the table that Blackout sorely needed during its unfortunately brief life cycle, and weigh each of their pros and cons. As one of the most revered features from Apex Legends, and one that all new and upcoming battle royales must have, the ping system provided an absolute godsend of a smart comms method for microless players by visually marking points of interest, spotting enemies, and even making requests for weapons and ammo. Although I was dismayed when Blackout never seized the opportunity to implement a ping system of its own, I was pleased when Warzone introduced one for Call of Duty's second go-around with the battle royale genre. However, when compared to the breadth of communication options in Apex Legends ping wheel, like keeping an eye out in a certain direction or notifying your teammates that you're going off to loot a certain spot, Warzone's ping system feels bare bones and very limiting. While the ping system covers the essentials of marking points of interest, marking weapons and ammo, spotting enemies, and alerting teammates that others have passed through, that's about it. To add insult to injury, the default ping function, at least on controller, is mapped to up on the D-pad. Mouse and keyboard players need not worry because the ping function is mapped to the scroll wheel button, but for someone who primarily plays on console, this feels like a missed opportunity. Granted, Apex Legends was built around the ping system, and the developers at Respawn Entertainment made the wise decision to map the ping button to the right shoulder button, allowing you to ping on the fly while on the move or aiming down sights with your weapon. By mapping the ping function to up on the D-pad, however, you essentially had to stop moving in order to mark points of interest or enemies, instead of having your index finger nestled on top of the round, cushioned surface of the shoulder button, ready to ping to your heart's content. Warzone's ping system forces you to lift your thumb off the left joystick in order to perform the same function. To be honest, I have lost count of how many times I had to look down at my controller to make sure I had properly pressed the smaller button and avoid fat fingering some other direction on the damn D-pad. However, since Warzone arrived only a year after Apex Legends launch in 2019, it's safe to say that the ping system was added late into development. And although there is an option to switch to a bumper ping controller scheme, the fact that it disrupts years of Call of Duty muscle memory when trying to use lethal and tactical equipment makes this design oversight somewhat forgivable, but nevertheless disappointing. On a somewhat smaller note, the Warzone operators don't verbalize their actions when they are damaged or downed, or vice versa, especially when they are farther away from you. Because of this, determining whether they did down and eliminate any enemies or wiped an entire squad by looking at the kill feed is more guesswork than necessary. But at least they give you a piece of their mind if you shoot at them, so I guess friendly fire is a thing of the past. Thank goodness. Another most requested feature that Apex Legends introduced, but unfortunately never arrived in Blackout, was respawns. Although respawns did make an appearance in the smaller, more close quarters combat Alcatraz Island map, the system never made it into the core Blackout experience. Thankfully, Warzone brought this feature in a new and exciting direction with the incorporation of the Gulag in-game economy system and buy stations. When you are first eliminated from the game, you are sent to the Gulag where you and another eliminated player must duke it out in a 1v1 gunfight with randomly selected loadouts. Whoever kills their opponent or captures the objective flag in the middle is crowned victorious and is sent back to the battlefield as a reward. As someone who considers 2v2 gunfight to be one of Modern Warfare's best modes, I was delighted to see this mechanic introduced into a battle royale since it requires precision and gun skill to win gunfights. That was until they decided to add assault rifles, submachine guns, light machine guns, and sniper rifles into the mix. While pistols, and to a lesser extent, shotguns force players to engage in close quarters combat and aim accurately, the same can't be said for the other weapon classes, since they have superior damage ranges and automatic fire rates in most cases. As a result of this change, many gunfights either have one player camping in their spawn and waiting for the opponent to come closer, or waiting for someone to cross the various longer sight lines and spraying them down before they can react. In either scenario, the addition of automatic fire weapons leads to less mobility and precision and more non-movement, and whoever shoots first wins. However, losing the Gulag fight doesn't necessarily mean that you're out of the game, since your teammates can respawn you back through Warzone's in-game cash economy system and buy stations. Unlike in Apex Legends where you are required to grab your teammate's banner from their death box within a limited time, you can buy teammates back as long as you have $4,000 or $4,500 at launch on you. This eliminates the risk of having to go back and possibly get gunned down by the end of a team, and allows you to disengage without the guilt of leaving them behind. Yet, this convenience also comes at a greater price. Since Apex Legends was all about squad play, the 90-second time limit to grab your teammate's banner was there to ensure that your team would come back for it, and if they managed to recover it, it demonstrated how much they valued your contribution to the team and how it could influence the long-term success of the match. Although there are a few bad apples who chose to disconnect because they didn't trust their teammates to come back, I assume, Respawn responded to this problem by warning players that if they repeatedly left within that recovery window, they would be issued a time penalty or even a ban on their account. In Warzone, however, there aren't those same parameters that enforce that same level of squad play, and if players felt frustrated that they went down like a bitch or didn't want to wait for their teammates to find a nearby buy station or redeploy them back, you guessed it, they just backed out of the game. No warning, no penalty or ban. They quit because there is nothing to punish them or that they need to be worried about. I have experienced many matches of trios or quads where my teammates leave mid-match solely because they got eliminated, whether they have gone through the gulag fight or not, and as a result, what started off as a full squad eventually dwindles down to just myself. This self-serving mentality does nothing but ruin the experience for other teammates and significantly lowers their chances of winning gunfights, let alone securing a win. Although the developers' continued promise to combat hacking and cheating within Warzone is certainly noble, the fact that they haven't done anything to resolve this issue by issuing some sort of penalty or ban makes me question whether they value the emphasis on teamwork, and sadly confirms to me how toxic the Call of Duty community truly is. Although a somewhat lesser feature, the Jumpmaster system introduced in Apex Legends was quite novel at the time, as it designated one player from each squad to determine which location your team will be going to, and controlled the deployment and descent downward. In short, landing as a squad is simply badass. While Warzone's version does appoint someone in your team as the squad leader, the similarities end there, as team members still deploy individually, often resulting in teammates not sticking together with everyone else and essentially eliminating the point of having a squad leader. While Apex Legends does have the option to launch solo, the abilities of some legends are rendered useless in solo play and are more suited for squad play. All in all, it helps emphasize the need to stick together as a team. Also, that is why Respawn is never going to introduce solos into the game, so stop asking already. Without this emphasis on team play, Warzone offers a non-solution to a problem that has plagued Battle Royale since the beginning and leads to the aforementioned problems of lone wolf players leaving mid-match once they are eliminated and ruin the experience for everyone involved. Although Blackout had a mechanic where you could descend safely down to lower levels by activating your wingsuit, it required you to jump off the platform by holding the sprint button, and whether it opened or not came down to a leap of faith. Warzone resolved the complicated process of activating the wingsuit by giving players a parachute that they could deploy or cut whenever they wanted, regardless of how high they were. However, the fact that a parachuting mechanic made its way into Warzone also means that fall damage still exists, something that Apex Legends and most other Battle Royales since then have done away with. Although the damage distance has significantly been reduced, and fall damage does make sense within the realistic modern military shooter of Modern Warfare and Call of Duty as a whole, having to worry about possibly breaking your legs again seems unnecessary. This is especially true when your own parachute that is meant to save you can unintentionally kill you by refusing to deploy if you're too close to the jagged geometry of various terrain or the side of a building. Or, most problematic of all when the game first launched, during the animation of putting on or removing your gas mask. Since Black Ops 4's Battle Royale mode had the closest ties to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, armor was categorized by 3 levels with damage reduction, and the highest level even offering headshot damage reduction. However, there wasn't a way to repair your armor, and many had to resort to armor swapping by equipping a fresh one off the ground or looting death boxes. Blackout would later go on to introduce armor plates that could refill up to 5 slots on your armor, but it required you to pull up your quick menu and hold a button for a rather long time. Thankfully, Warzone managed to figure out its armor system right out of the gate by giving all players the same amount of armor with 3 slots of 50 armor HP each, and mapping the refilling of armor plates to a designated button by simply holding triangle on PS4 or Y on Xbox. Although this change is most certainly welcome in comparison to Blackout's armor system, it doesn't quite measure up to how Apex Legends tackles its armor system. Armor in Apex Legends came in various levels of rarity and HP, with the level 1 white body armor granting 50 armor HP, and the level 3 purple and level 4 gold body armor granting 100 armor HP. Although these higher armor levels did give you an advantage over others in gunfights, they also motivate you to search around the map in the hopes of finding that elusive epic or legendary armor. Furthermore, the most recent Season 6 update arguably made this armor system more than perfect by changing the body armor to Evo armor. By allowing players to level up their armor based on the damage they inflicted over the course of the match, it encouraged players to play aggressively and rewarded them with the hopes of obtaining the level 5 heirloom armor with a whopping 125 armor HP. While Warzone's armor does give everyone a fair advantage, it's kind of a shame that you can't search around the map with the same hopes of obtaining something stronger. However, this small gripe doesn't come close to my biggest criticism of this armor system. Rather than carrying over to the next slot, using armor plates only refills it up to the current slot. For example, if you have 90 armor HP and use one armor plate, your armor would only fill up to 100 rather than 140. As a result, you are essentially wasting armor plates as you are replenishing your armor during what will be many gunfights. One of the biggest features that I can praise Warzone for is how they revamped the inventory management systems. In the short time that the Battle Royale genre rose to popularity, making sure that you have enough space in your inventory or expanding it by picking up backpacks has always been a staple. Warzone simplifies this down to where the only resources you need to worry about are ammo, armor plates, and cash. Furthermore, the game's UI closely adopted the one seen in Modern Warfare's core multiplayer, with the capacity to carry 2 weapons, lethal and tactical equipment, a field upgrade, and 1 kill streak. Health regenerates automatically like in Modern Warfare, so you only need to refill armor plates to prepare for the next fight. Ammo and armor plates can be picked up by simply walking past them, and sharing or requesting resources can be achieved through a nifty quick menu. In terms of weapon loot, Warzone opted to replace attachment looting with a brand new system. Starting with Modern Warfare, the gunsmith system was introduced into Call of Duty's multiplayer, expanding upon the traditional create a class system and offering a breadth of customization options to kit out your weapons, including optics, lasers, and stocks. Since a single weapon could have up to 50 different attachments, looting for attachments would have been an absolute nightmare in Warzone. As a result, Warzone decided to incorporate its blueprint system, weapons with predetermined attachments. Along with this, it adopted a weapon rarity system similar to Fortnite's, with common being the lowest with no attachments, and legendary being the highest with all 5 attachments. Although this system works within the context of Modern Warfare and Warzone, it is hard to distinguish how each weapon is better besides its rarity. Does it have longer damage range, a better optic, better accuracy, better ADS stability? It's hard to determine whether the weapon blueprint is better unless you test it out in combat, and sometimes that can lead to disastrous results. Therefore, I'm not sure how much of an improvement this loot system is, when I could easily kit out my weapon however I want by equipping the right attachments. Additionally, finding a legendary weapon blueprint, whether it be early on in the game or midway through, essentially gives you no reason to search around the map for a better weapon. That is, unless you purchase... Loadout Drops are Warzone's versions of care packages, but instead of having the game randomly designate a landing spot, you could purchase them in buy stations and call them in whenever you wanted. Once dropped, you could choose from a selection of loadouts created in Modern Warfare's multiplayer, from weapon builds kitted out with your desired attachments and camos. Perks were also introduced into Warzone, much more smoothly than how Blackout tried to incorporate them, and could only be obtained through loadout drops, although their abilities were slightly altered to accommodate the Battle Royale rule set. Loadout drops serve as a clever method of tying Modern Warfare's multiplayer progression into the Battle Royale mode, and was a standout feature. Until it wasn't. Within the first week, players discovered how valuable thermal optic snipers were within their loadouts, as they highlighted enemies who didn't have the cold-blooded perk and had longer damage ranges. Coupled with how cheap the loadout drops were, at $5,000, this heavy reliance on thermal optic snipers created a very early meta that disrupted the overall flow, as many teams would camp at a certain spot and pick off people once they obtained their loadout. As a result, the developer had to raise the price not once, but twice to remedy this situation. Even though the loadout drop sits at a reasonable price, this feature is still considered a controversial one in my opinion, because it eliminates the randomly generated nature of battle royales. As mentioned before in my thoughts on Warzone's weapon loot system, securing your loadout drop gives you no reason to search the map for better items. In contrast, the most powerful weapons in Apex Legends, like the Peacekeeper, Kraber, and R99, can only be obtained in care packages, which you have to actively locate since they land on random spots. This system was further expanded on with the introduction of materials and replicators in the latest season, as certain weapons, attachments, and items could only be accessed through these stations. So although the loadout drop system has definitely improved since launch, its encouragement of non-movement makes it hard for me to reconcile with it. Last but not least, let's talk about Verdansk, the map for Warzone. From a design standpoint, the geographical layout and location of the POIs of Verdansk made the map feel authentic, as though it were a real-life country, and its massive size complemented the 150 player count that the game was boasting. Unlike Blackout's map, where it required you to be a historian of the Black Ops series to understand the layouts of locations like Rivertown and Array, various POIs from Warzone were taken directly from the standard multiplayer and ground war maps, like Atlas Superstore, Karst River Quarry, and Tovorsk District. In short, as long as you played those maps in the core multiplayer at least once, you were just as informed as everyone else. Also, having the name of POIs superimposed above the locations while you're in the dropship is pretty damn cool. It can't be denied that this map looks absolutely beautiful from a graphical standpoint, and Infinity Ward's decision to photoscan real-life objects into the game has, in no small part, contributed to the realistic feel of Modern Warfare and Warzone as a whole. Yet, even with the massive 150 player count, the map feels woefully large, and the addition of densely structured and elevated power positions like the control tower at Verdansk International Airport and the skyscrapers that populate downtown creates situations where campers are hunkered down, waiting for someone to cross their sightlines and beam them to death. The developers have tried to incorporate systems to encourage movement to varying degrees of success. Contracts are optional objectives that task you or your team with looting scavenger crates, capturing a recon point, or eliminating a bounty target, with various rewards tied to their completion. But given the fact that many Call of Duty players don't usually play the objective in the standard multiplayer, it's hard to have your team follow through within a Battle Royale setting, regardless of how enticing those rewards are. Another way in which Battle Royales tend to push players together is through the circle, and Warzone's version was a cloud of gas that was ever closing and suffocated those who were unfortunate enough to be outside of it, which ties nicely to the theme of the dangerous nature of chemical warfare present in Modern Warfare's campaign. Instead of exponentially increasing the damage with each round, the gas circle is relentless in how it chips both health and armor, and it's much harder to outrun once you're caught in it. In short, the game makes it very clear that you should get into the safe zone. Yet what ruins the threatening presence of this gas circle is how large the first circle is. Oftentimes, this first circle equates to almost the size of the entire Verdansk map, and even in situations where the circle is cut off by the restricted area, it gives those who are already inside no reasons to move, and so they tend to stay where they are. On a somewhat similar note, Warzone introduced gas masks in order to mitigate damage from the gas circle for a short period. While the animation for pulling down and for removing the gas mask is novel the first time around, it becomes less so when it is detrimental to your survival. Pulling down or removing the gas mask during a pivotal gunfight causes your aim to go from ADS to hipfire, reducing the accuracy of your shots and possibly costing you that engagement, and serves as another example of something that is meant to save you unintentionally killing you. To add insult to injury, the core movement systems that are taken directly from Modern Warfare aren't fluid enough to suit mobile playstyles. Your footsteps are incredibly loud and not only disrupt your hearing, but are audible to those who are situated in a nearby building. Your tactical sprint only speeds you up for a few seconds before returning to normal, and your slide only lasts for a few meters. The parkour-based mantling system works great when hopping over walls and fences, but is unbelievably useless when trying to scale the uneven terrain found in hills and cliff sides. In comparison to Apex Legends' unlimited sliding and mantling system that lets you climb up walls and boulders with ease, Warzone's movement feels absolutely inferior in every way possible. Combined with how powerful each weapon feels in the game and how short the time to kill is, even with the addition of armor, this is yet another example of how this game favors those who sit still and punishes those for simply moving across the map. Although I have pointed out many flaws with this game, I didn't go into this video essay to hate on Call of Duty Warzone. It has, in many respects, improved upon what Blackout should have been while still missing the opportunity to become a solid battle royale like Apex Legends. There are moments where I genuinely have fun with this game. I'll happen to find an incredibly rare War Machine grenade launcher in a supply crate right after winning an intense gulag fight, proceed to use said War Machine to destroy an oncoming SUV and wipe out an entire squad, sneak into a building and ambush a group of snipers engaged in their own firefight and take down half the team. But even after such a clip-worthy play, having all your efforts go to waste because half your team decided to stay behind and camp in the attic of a house is a painful reminder that those moments are few and far between. This particular match left me dismayed and angered, not just because of their unwillingness to take aggressive risks, but that their lack of aim led them to ultimately go out like a bitch. It served as a prime example of how this game conditioned them to think teamwork doesn't matter, any movement whatsoever is dangerous, the only strategy to ensure victory is to sit still and wait for someone to cross your sights. Now you might chalk this up to, this is how this particular player plays, but everything from Warzone's clunky movement, map design and size, lack of motivation to find better loot, and players unwilling to wait for others to respawn them only confirms the fact that this game seemingly discourages strong squad play and aggressive and mobile playstyles. As someone who spent an entire year playing Apex Legends and breaking the habits of non-movement I had developed while playing Blackout, I was very disappointed that Warzone decided to go back to its old methods. However, while I don't necessarily agree with Warzone from a design standpoint, the game has incredible potential because of its free-to-play nature, ensuring years of continued support, and how it seeks to bridge between the yearly premium experiences of Call of Duty. So far, we've seen this with the incredible Know Your History event, which served as the worldwide reveal for Black Ops Cold War. And given how differently this new iteration plays, players are naturally wondering how Warzone will translate to the experience. Will we have a brand new map, or changes to the existing Verdansk map? How will the new create a class system, including wildcards, work within Warzone? Furthermore, will Warzone use weapons from Black Ops Cold War or 2019's Modern Warfare? Although we did get a glimpse of Warzone mechanics in the recent Black Ops Cold War multiplayer beta within the Fireteam Dirty Bomb mode, only time can tell what else is in store. Overall, the years of support ahead and changes to the gameplay to accommodate each yearly release means that Warzone will be continually evolving, and the room for improvement nevertheless excites me as a fan of both Call of Duty and Battle Royales. Hey y'all, Alistar here. Thank you so much for watching this video essay on Call of Duty Warzone. My deepest apologies for taking forever to deliver this critical analysis, and I would like to thank you once again for your incredible patience. I hope you look forward to more video essays like these in the near future. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you are already subscribed, make sure to ring that notification bell so you are updated whenever future videos go live. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you guys next time. Jane!
One picked the wrong fight.